All right. Aloha and welcome. Before we begin, as is our tradition, we'll start tonight with a pule. And so we ask Kaliko, I lost track of Kaliko. Oh, yeah, my Kaliko radar. To please honor us with a pule for tonight's meeting.
Aloha kako, let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we just thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to gather this evening. We thank you for all of our community that has come from here in the town and out throughout Maui County. We thank you for the relationships that have continued to be built over 2.5 years, going on 3. And we never waste the opportunity to continue to have great conversations. We thank you, Lord. We know that all things are not perfect, but as we continue to have great relationships, we work through them with great solutions. So we ask that you be with all of our families. We ask that you help us to always deliver with aloha in building a greater Lahaina. We ask that you take us all home safely at the end of this evening. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, mahalo, Kaliko. For those of you who are just joining us tonight, because we have a added on agenda item with the Konalo storm response, I'm Mahina Martin. I'm Mayor Bison's Public Affairs Director. Welcome to Lahaina's monthly meeting that we've been here for quite some time. I have just a few announcements. For your cell phones, please put them on silent. And then if you have to have a conversation with your friend and neighbor next door to you, please take the conversation outside out of respect for those around you who want to hear the information being presented tonight. The slides will be available on myrecovers.org as always, and we are filming live. Big mahalo to Akaku, who help us out on channel 53. And then a recording of this meeting is always on myrecovers.org. So you can look up the slides, but feel free to take a picture from the back of the room. No need squint, no need, try increase your eyesight by testing it on any small print. But just make sure that, remember that you can go back and go get that later. I want to, because we've been through a really rough couple of weeks, I want to make sure everyone's clear. We have some journalists in the room tonight. They come every now and then, but tonight they are present. So if they approach you and want to expand on a story or invite you for a comment, it is your decision to do so. So just know that. Do not feel obligated, but feel welcome if that is something that you want to do. And they always introduce themselves as journalists, so they should be doing that. And then finally, we have a very long agenda tonight, so we're gonna make our way through it. Our team's very prepped, and I'm gonna turn this over to Mayor Bison for the opening of tonight's meeting. Mayor?
Aloha, Lahaina, ohana. Thank you all for being here. I wanted to acknowledge Maui United Way for their bringing over that meal eye over there for everybody, so please help yourselves to that. Also, the American Red Cross, who brought cleaning materials, those white buckets back there. If you are a family who needs one to clean out your area, your homes, please take one with you when you leave tonight. Again, that is cleaning supplies in those white buckets if anybody's in need. First of all, we just want to extend our sincere aloha to everyone, knowing all the suffering that has happened here over the last couple of weeks as throughout Maui County, but obviously Lahaina again has faced that. So thank you for your patience and your willingness to obviously be here tonight. And we want to hear your concerns and hear whatever you want to share. You folks know that we have a lot of people that we want to get through tonight from our team. To provide information specific to the Konalo 1 and Konalo 2 storms that hit us recently. Some of you might be more aware and prepared of the services that we have versus some of the other communities. We visited our upcountry community last week, Thursday, our Iao community on Sunday, and we were in South Maui last night, and we'll be going to Molokai next. So again, the whole idea is to provide services and information that you folks need to help with this current disaster that we've been hit with. The governor was here. The governor was in town. to view some of the assessments. You're going to hear this from our MEMA staff pretty soon, so please pay attention to what we're asking you to do in particular for what's happened over the Kona Loa 1 and 2. There are some information that we need to gather. We are seeking another presidential declaration of disaster so that will open up some of the financial assistance that we can get from them. It's unfortunate that we qualify, which means we hit some really big numbers of what the cost is going to be to recover from this, as many of you are already recovering. So you are unique, this community, compared to what's happened the rest of Maui. So that's what we're here for tonight. I'm going to turn it back over to Mahina so we can get started with the program. Thank you folks for being here.
Thank you, Mayor. We always say this every month, right? Take care of yourself, but especially in light of the last 2 weeks and the difficulties and the challenges. We heard it up country last Thursday. We're in Iao Valley talking to the Ohana of Iao on Sunday morning. Last night we were listening and learning from the Kihei South Maui community. And tonight we want to make sure we included it with tonight's Lahaina meeting as well. But more so want to always welcome you and encourage you to take advantage of support services, just as we tell our own teams to do. A few community announcements because they really want you to know. The Pa'upili on Saturdays continues. It's the Lahaina third Saturdays. I hear it's a heck of an event. So if you can go, it's a little bit of makeke, a little bit of shopping, help out our small businesses, but it's also a chance to reunite with people, see each other, and then check out the resources and support that the team has put together. So this is community driven, April 18 at Lahaina United Methodist Church. It's a terrific event. The Hope Homes Foundation is having a workshop coming up, and there's a QR code to participate. We want to make sure you understand that this is an important workshop and being put on by Randy and Robin Clark, and HopeHomesFoundation.org will carry the information. Again, this slide, grab a photo if you got to remind yourself of the date, but it's coming up on pretty soon. It'll come quicker than you can. But it'll help you navigate the application process as well for FEMA and insurance claims. So lots of resources are coming up once more, just to be there for all of you. So tonight we're going to bring up our friends from the Parks and Recreation Department. They're going to talk about something pretty exciting coming up. Is what you asked for, which is a new Lahaina Community Center. Oh my goodness, it's like, that's pretty, are you excited? Yeah, I am too, just for all of you. Plus we can borrow, right? That's the thing. And then we're here from Office of Recovery, and we wanted to make sure the same information that we've been going around town, and we'll be traveling to East Maui later and Molokai soon, is available to you as well. So our team will be offering the same information that they've been going around town doing in the last few days. We've been really busy. So a big mahalo to our teams coming out, because not only have they worked nonstop for 2 weeks, pushing through the storm and helping all of our 3 islands, but they're circling back to make sure they connect with every single community that's been severely impacted. So tonight you're going to hear from all of these folks, and one that we did not publicize, but we're happy to hear. We have Joe Campos here from the State Department of Human Services. We know there were a lot of questions and updates, you wanted to hear from them, particularly with things that happened during the storm in the above Mauka side of Li'ali'i. There was a question last month about DHHL. Can we invite them? We reached out to Commissioner Archie Kalepa. We know that there is a DHHL commission meeting coming up later this year. That is where they want to talk to beneficiaries and have a more fuller discussion. So we've alerted them that there is a high interest in that for Hawaiian Homes beneficiaries that came to us last meeting and since the last meeting. Some of you also asked about the cell tower, how much backup time they have. So we did reach out. We know the capacity and the capabilities of these cell service towers. We have to keep working with them on information that they want to be sure that they're prepared to share with us. So I did want to reassure you that we're working on that, getting it, and we've already been in contact with each of the cell service providers. All right, and the next month, of course, we'll be back. And thank you for coming to April Fool's Day, because we really, really are here. For real kind. This is a for real meeting. Councilmember Tamara Paulton could not join us. She has a council budget community meeting up country, where she's also, there's only one of her. So she asked that we offer information on her behalf right at the table where Erin is sitting. Copies of two bills that your council member wants you to know. One is Bill 27 and one is Bill 47. Now, Bill 27 standardizes the allowable size of accessory dwelling units for lots smaller than a half acre. So this is coming up for second and final reading. So she needs your help if you support it. And again, this is regarding accessory dwelling units. Bill 47 is about using bedrooms versus square footage to determine the minimum number of off-street parking. You know how it always comes up, off-street parking? So that bill, there's a copy of it there. She needs your help, and if this is something you want, there's a first reading tomorrow. So you can send in testimony to county.clerk@mauicounty.us, or go to the council meeting tomorrow and sign up. And finally, from Councilmember Paulton, she wants you to know that she put this handy-dandy Hawaii Directory of Public Officials on that table. You can grab one. Erin's holding it where it is. You can grab one. It has every elected official's email address. So when time for you to send in testimony, this is the Bible. Okay, this is the one. This is your old telephone book. I almost called it Hawaiian telephone book. All right. With that in mind, we're going to move forward. We have our friends from Parks Department. You met him before, but Mr. Pat McCall from Parks and Recreation. Share a little bit about the exciting news.
Thank you, everybody. I need to scratch the April Fool's joke. I was going to say the project's canceled, but no, I won't do that. I was here just about a month ago. I gave you the very exciting news about the fact that we had issued the contract information, what we call the notice to proceed. And tonight we have that company joining us. But I'd first like to give you, again, a little reminder. We're building a community center. With the specifics will be given as this presentation. And also a field house is basically covered courts, the multi-purpose courts. And I just want to review very quickly my focus for our consultant was, first and foremost, the community center is a shelter for the community. Second, it is a functional community center. I don't need it to be pretty in everything. We want it to be serviceable. We want it to service the Lahaina community, including the commercial kitchen, et cetera, in the center. And so we're kind of excited about that. They will go over their schedule of community engagement, where you're going to have the opportunity for input on both projects. We're considering it one project, but both facilities. Before I do that, though, before they do that, I'd like to introduce kind of the people involved. Our Chief of Planning and Development was unable to come tonight, it's Mr. Sam Marvel, but our West District Rec Supervisor, your own, Lahaina's, okay, Sean Gordon, of course. The CIP coordinator, the Capital Improvement Project Coordinator Extraordinaire, who's doing a lot of the work out here in Lahaina, Miss Erica Houston. And then the big guns from our consulting firm from G70 International, a Maui boy, Mr. Jim Stone. He's the principal and architect of the whole plan. And the senior planner and project manager, Andrew Choi. Okay. So I will turn this over to Erica, and she'll kind of go over some quick thoughts.
All right, howdy everybody. I'm being told to move. Here we go. Got it. Thank you. It's my first debut. Okay, a little bit of project background. As you all know, community space is very limited on West Side. It was so before and even more so now. So that's a huge push for us to get this community center up and moving as well as the field house. Right now, Parks and Recreation only has one building for you all, and that is our Lahaina Civic Center Social Hall. So we really want to expand that when we're looking to move forward. Our project location, we're going to be at Lahaina Recreation Center Complex. We're finalizing exactly where the structures are going to go, but it will be in this region. Features we're looking at for the field house, we're going to have 2 regulation-sized basketball courts that will be multi-purpose. That includes volleyball, pickleball, other main uses there. So it's going to be a great covered with shade. That's huge, huge. Our community center, as Pat mentioned, we're going to include a commercial kitchen. Wonderful, yes, we're excited. We're also going to really focus on community dynamics, making sure that anyone can come in and use the space. We'll also be having recreation offices put in, so you'll have staff on site as well, which will be wonderful. Tentative outreach timeline. So from May and June, we're going to be collecting your input. Awesome. May 19th at the Social Hall, we will be hosting our workshop in person for you to come down, tell us what you really want. You know, we'll have some blanket templates, but we really want to hear from you to make sure we get it right. And then moving forward from there, we'll also have an online passive website because not everyone can make it, you know, when the meetings are running. So from there, we'll move forward. We'll come back in July, tell you what we got and how we're going to move forward, and we're going to fast track this thing. You can give your input. We just went over it in our meeting, May 19th, or online. That link is coming. We'll send it out and disseminate that information as we move forward. And we'd love to hear from you. Please email me. That's my email up there. And only nice things. But that's awesome. Thank you guys so much. And if you have questions, we'll be here at the very end of all the presentations.
These Spice people, they're so cheery. I just feel like smiling all the time. Okay, we're going to bring up Office of Recovery, John Smith? Yeah. We're going to cover this one up front so we can get to our storm.
I don't think I can be as bubbly, but that was great. Thank you. I might match Pat. Sure. Hi, everybody. It was really interesting to go to other community meetings last few days because, you know, we don't know them as well as we know you. And, but we're really happy to be here tonight to see familiar faces, or at least I shouldn't say I don't know them as well as you, but we have a few updates. This is just our standard updates. It's a truncated version tonight because of all the other stuff that's going on. We are, in terms of building permits, we are up to 353 in process. It's awesome that we're at 728 issued, and 171 are home, and that means 161 are complete and moved in to their new homes. That's awesome. 305 under construction. So it's awesome to see those numbers go up. We had a commercial permitting workshop scheduled in the next few weeks, but we had to push it back a little bit because we had another storm. You guys know that. And so we're pushing that back to May, but we are looking forward to the next commercial permitting workshop. We had that, when was it? 2 months ago, I think now, over at the MAC. We'll do it again, and we'll move forward all of those. But what really was great about that was we provided a lot of clarity for a lot of the commercial owners for what they can and can't do and how to move forward as quickly as possible. Our Ho'okumaho program is off and running, as you know, as well, and we'll just quickly go into that. Our first-time homebuyer program continues to gain speed. We have 42 active families shopping for homes right now through this program, and 9 families have closed and moved into their homes. So that's another great thing we can be proud of. I don't point out the pictures often, but it's a really high-level guy at HUD that came just to check on us a couple weeks ago, and he was really happy to be here, of course, with the mayor there. Those award ceremonies are awesome for everyone that gets involved in it. And just a general reminder that the action plan, the substantial amendment number 2 comment period is still open until April 7th. This has been a popular event, Akapuna Nights. I don't think we have a video this time, but you guys all know what that's about. This time we're going to use your facility, Pat. Thank you for signing off on that. And it's going to be April 22nd, 3 to 6 p.m. So please come join it at a county facility. And if we can really fast track this project, we'll do one of these over there. Yeah. There are a bunch of them over at your new facility. So yeah, really excited about that. So please join this one at the Civic Center. Mahalo for all your support, everyone. I won't belabor this tonight, but if you have any questions, I'll stick around as usual, and you can come pepper me with questions or yell at me towards the end of this session. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. We're going to move into the information that we've been going around our community, our island, and sharing. And then I know that after our meeting, as usual, we'll still take questions, but we'll be able to answer our regular recovery questions as well as any storm-related from our team's presentation. They will also have their resource tables available. So please don't feel as usual, like we're going to run off as usual. We'll be here hanging out for a little bit. You see the food table in the back there. That's provided by Maui Food Bank, Maui United Way. They've been giving us all this food as we go around town to share the Konalo flood disaster recovery resources information. So this is courtesy of them for tonight, but please help yourself. Get up anytime during the meeting, all right, and then enjoy. Okay, with that, and you will meet our presenters soon, but also with us, is he here? Is Jordan, not Jordan, but Josiah Nishita? Not yet? Okay. Oh, okay, sorry, usually he's been here. And then we have also the Deputy Director of Department of Agriculture. Where'd he go? Koa Heba Heba. He won't be presenting, but he is here as well. And Sherry Peterson, you all know from United Policyholders. She's quite a friend of Lahaina. And so she's back again and has been traveling with us to every impacted community this last week. So really appreciate that. And I do want to introduce, because she's here tonight, she's official. She got sworn in, part of our cabinet, the new director of our human concerns. Where did she hide out? Maggie Willis in the back. Please give a warm Lahaina welcome. Today is your first day, right? And it's not April Fool's, right? For real. You're like, okay, they really swore you in, right? Okay. And not swore at you, but they swore you in, right? Okay. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start with my emergency management agency.
I was following the agenda. I had somebody before me, but anyways, aloha everybody. Kono Davis from MEMA. I share John's sentiment in that I feel comfortable in this place. We had a few meetings at other areas that when I look out into the crowd, I don't see the familiar faces that I see now. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I know we have a relationship, and I hope it's a good one. Part of the presentation that I have involves what we do, and I think for this crowd, I don't need to explain that because you've heard it time and time again of what we do. I just want to let you know that we're still here, and we're still here for you. And I know that after an event like we had in 2023, this flood event was no picnic. I was out with Kaliko and others in the field after I was doing a 13-hour shift at EOC, because this is my town too. And so I share the grief and the heartache that you all share. So just know that that's where I come from. And I'm not going to bore you with what MEMA does, because you know what MEMA does. You know what our role is. The one thing that I just want to add that some of you may or may not know is we implemented a community network that is integrated into MEMA. And some of you in the crowd here are part of that community network, which gives us really good essay or situational awareness on the ground, because we get a lot of false information coming into the EOC, and that takes time for us to vet that if we don't have, the eyes on the ground. And it really, it's unfortunate that people want to do that, but it really takes us away from doing the important stuff, and that's helping you all. So we integrated a community network. It's been working really well, and I appreciate all of you who are part of that network. Talking about damage assessments, the mayor alluded that we're going to talk about it. If you have any type of damage that you think it has happened, minor, just superficial damage, please, if you can, the next slide is going to have a QR code. Get your phones ready. You have till April 10th to put in the damage assessment, and it gives us a really good picture of what our county has faced. Without going to every single home and asking them, this is the second best thing. We have you just self-report out, and then we can come out and verify the damage. So this slide right here, I don't know why we still have this slide on, because it's blurry and it's kind of funny. But this is our damage assessment platform. So the colors, just different types of areas and structures. But that's a concentration of what we have so far that reported, and that's not much. We need way more. So if you can, this QR code on the top, it's to fill out a form. That form will come straight to Maui Emergency Management Agency and also the Office of Recovery, and we can assess through this platform. It's really important that everybody does it so that we can reach a certain threshold so that we can get federal assistance. The little QR code on the bottom is just a video of instructions. You can, take a picture of that or not, but I want to remind you, April 10th is that day, the deadline, so if you can, you got 9 more days. That'll be very good. Again, I don't think I need to tell you about this. You guys heard us talk about Genesis Protect and MEMA alerts. You probably all have it. If you don't, we have all these fine young gentlemen and women in the back there wearing the same shirt that I am that can help you download these apps. I suggest that you do it if you don't have it, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of you do. And finally, I just want to mahalo you again for being like the most resilient community that I've ever come across. What you've all faced is unprecedented, and you still hear, you still show up in numbers. The voices that I hear are very loud and clear, and I appreciate all of you for being that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Kono. I'd like to invite Dr. Pang up to share some information, and here he is.
Thank you. I'm going around to the community meetings, and I'm not going to give the same presentation twice, so it's a little different for you guys. I grew up in Hawaii, and I lived by Nuuanu Stream. And when I was 8 years old, my mother said, "Hey, read this." And it was about a disease carried in rat urine, and it was called leptospirosis. I could barely pronounce it. And I learned my lesson. She says, "You're going to get the disease. You keep going in the stream. You keep playing with your dad asked you to cut the wet brush, and so you're going to get it." So I said, "What do you want me to do?" She said, "When you get the fever and it's not a cold, come tell us because we'll know what to do." Fast forward about 25 years later, we published a paper. I was back in Hawaii for 3 years, and we showed that leptospirosis was very widely spread. So this is a disease which is a bacteria, and it harbors long-term in the rat, okay, in the rat. It's in their urine. But funny, 2 months before the Kona low, I'm on Maui now, and I get leptospirosis probably again and again and again. There is no immunity. You can get each type once, and last count there's 200-something types, okay? So how in the world did I get lepto 2 months before the Kona low. Well, I lived by the Waihe side. I went through Waihe Stream. I went prawning. And then when I came out of prawning, there was pig poops all over my yard. The pigs are going rampant in Maui. Maybe not your side, but surely on our side, Waihe, Waihehu, and even Kihei in the gullies. The rat holds the bacteria, leptos, and it infects the pig, infects most mammals. And the pig will expand it, and it's in the urine of pigs and in the urine of rat. But when the pigs urinate, it's all over the place. So, okay, we were aware of that before the Kona lows. But the bacteria spread by the pig and the rat and all that, it lives in fresh water, not salt water, fresh water, and wet areas. Well, how long is it going to live? Well, as long as it's wet, for about 3 months. And from the mud, from the wet plants, from the fresh water, it will infect you. It will infect other animals. And how does it infect us? It goes through your mucous membranes, like when I go prawning, I got to stick my head in the water, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, and it goes through cuts in your skin and abrasions. I was diagnosed when I was in Christmas. They said, hey, you're positive. Good thing you treated yourself. I was in Seattle. A friend died in Seattle of leptospirosis because he scraped himself teaching the kids soccer in the spring, and they thought, that's just a scrape. It's not that deep kind of tetanus stuff. And he would ping-ponged all around, and they had trouble diagnosing him till it was too late, and he died. The guy was like 38 years old with 2 kids left. So then I'm coming back on the plane. I sit next to this guy. I didn't bring it up. They're from Hana, and said, you heard about so-and-so, right? I said, no, what? They said, you know, they died of that rat urine thing. The guy was like 28, strong guy. So I said, yeah, well, I guess we should watch it because the pigs are all over the place. But it got magnified a lot with the Kona lows because it's wet. And after the first Kona low, I had to go clean up, but the pigs are there, the urine's there. And then I thought, hey, maybe I'll catch a break. If it dries up, the bacteria will die. But it kept drizzling. And my wife said, hey, just get out there. At least it's not pouring rain. So we're working in the wet things, and it will infect you. So what? If it's you're scraped or cut, try to cover it up. I know you're going in the water. I know you're going with wet plants. You got to go clean up. You got to go help clean up. But the second fallback position is if you get infected, you will get symptoms anywhere from 3 days to 3 weeks later. So anytime afterwards, okay? And the thing is living for 3 months as long as it's wet. Hey, but outside it's dry. But you know when they ask you to go dig around the compost and move this and wet, as soon as you turn over, it's wet. And I can guarantee you, with the amount of pigs on the Waihehu side, Wailuku side, that's lepto. These things are just pouring lepto out, okay? Now, so what I do, I got lepto. And I'm asking everybody, if you have a fever without explanation, then go call your medical care provider and just tell them lepto. And if they're new to Maui, they'll call us. They don't call us. And they say, yeah, lepto. And we know how to treat it. You can treat it very quickly. It's not hard to treat. But if you don't treat it, when we did that study in 1987, there was a lot of lepto hiding in the people with flu. 10% died, okay? So it is dangerous unless you treat it early. So what's like early, or what's weird about this? When I had fever and body ache, oh, that could be dengue, that could be lepto, that could be typhus. Overseas, it could be malaria. But it wasn't the head cold. It's not the flu. I didn't have stuffy nose. I didn't have cough. I didn't have anything. I didn't have an infected sore, red hot swollen tender sore. That could explain a fever, but I didn't have that. And lepto comes in through you and leaves no inflammation, not red hot swollen tender, just a fever and body ache, okay? So I said, wow, I think I got lepto. What the heck? If I do, I'm gonna treat early. So I treated myself, and then I saw my doctor and said, well, what are you here for then? Because I wanted a test to confirm, and the test confirmed it. So once it was confirmed, I told my entire community, lepto, the pigs are here, it's wet season, we're in trouble. So they said, well, I'm gonna change my way of life. I know, I'm just asking you to watch for fevers. That's number one. Next, low back injury. When we clean up, be careful, don't bend over, lift with your legs, because the old guys like me get sore knee now. But then I tell my daughter, help me. And so we lift together. When you lift with your legs and you lift a bunch, I can lift the cement. I hold it to me and I lift. You're going to clean up mud and dirt and stuff. You're going to get your clothes dirty, and you say, oh, I don't want my clothes dirty. So you chance it. You lift it like you're not supposed to lift. There's so many low back injuries coming in. You know how to do it. You know to get help. Do it. Next, mosquitoes. All these little breeding sites. Maybe Lahaina, you got the breeding sites, empty them out. The mosquitoes can go bonkers. After the Lahaina fire, the mosquitoes were all over the place breeding. Empty out the breeding sites. But if you get plenty of little breeding sites of fallen leaves, like our side, call us. We will tell you, I'll tell you right now, 1.5 teaspoons of dishwashing detergent per gallon. 1.5 teaspoons per gallon. Spray it out. That stuff will kill the mosquitoes. Well, how often you gotta do it? Well, how long does a mosquito take to grow up to adult? 8 days. So can you do it once every 8 days? But I ask once every 4 days, because you might have missed the spot. Okay? So these things, mosquitoes, low back injury, lepto, this is all new. This is all part of the Kona Low cleanup. Okay? We'll be around. If you need to call us, and thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pang. We're going to bring up Public Works, followed by Environmental Management and Department of Water Supply. Jordan?
All right, aloha. I'm Jordan Molina, your director with the Department of Public Works. Give me a sec. Who you guys strong, man. Appreciate your resiliency and, you fighting back. We may not stop all the storms, but we're going to help you guys be able to handle and recover. So Public Works, of course, we're the roads and the drains. Had some action. I'm just going to kind of run through some of the things that our crews respond to when these events happen. So, of course, when the storms come in, that's prep for us. We're out throughout the district. Our coverage goes all the way out Kapalua, right? Honopilani Road is out that far in, and then all the way through Lahaina Town and in between. And for those of you that don't know, Mauka of the highway, we have a bunch of flood control basins that we oversee and maintain. So one of our big responsibilities is monitoring those facilities, ensuring that they're functioning properly, ensuring that they're clean and functioning before the storm and also during the storm. We're out there doing checks, making reports into DLNR, the dam safety folks, to ensure that we're monitoring those conditions. That's a big part of our responsibilities out here on the west side. And then once the rains hit, of course, responding to flood calls where they happen. Sinkholes had plenty. I won't say good part, but we fortunately, it was in the spots we knew we had problems, and fortunately we had the contracts out ready to make those repairs. So you'll be seeing that work moving relatively quickly up in Kilauea, Mauka. But during the event, we did our best to try and shore up those holes, and the rain was just relentless and didn't give us a chance. So I know a few of you got stuck for a few days out there. I just again appreciate you guys being tough to handle that and give us time to try and respond the best we can. Sinkholes, more sinkholes, trees down across the district along Lower Honopilani Road. Trying to monitor what's coming down off the hill. A lot of changes out in Wahikuli, and trying to help just manage those conditions now best we can. Over the next coming weeks, we'll be out there cleaning debris out of our drainage ways, clean them off the roadways, patching those roads where we can. For us, it's, fortunately we get a strong crew out here on the west side. They're all from this area. They work hard, and appreciate being able to support them, and in turn being able to support you guys. I think the most immediate thing we got going now is we're going to try to get that road back to the Civic Center repaired. So we'll be seeing that undertaking over the next few weeks. Of course, that's our critical facility up there, so we'll get that rolling, as well as those drain line repairs. And outside of that, we're still rolling with all our DR money to bring all those projects here for you folks. So, Public Works hasn't stopped since the fire, and some guys get to take a break when the rain stops, but we gotta just keep rolling because we into the next phase of recovery and we keep on pushing. So appreciate all you guys' support and for coming out tonight. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I guess I'm going to introduce myself. Most of you know me. My name is Shane Agon. I'm the Director of Environmental Management. Tonight, I'm going to share with you what to do with your debris. I know a lot of you are dealing with debris from the storm. I just want to let you know that a debris task force was set up soon after under the guidance of the Office of Recovery. A lot of SMEs, subject matter experts, meet every day to coordinate debris disposal, removal, and resources for the communities. A lot of the people who join this meeting are in this room, actually, and I give them a lot of credit for the input and guidance to help get these resources to you. So thank you for allowing me to share some of these resources for you folks. So the first thing to do, as Kono mentioned, is report any type of disaster debris, any type of damage. We ask you to sort your debris. The first two main debris sources is mud and sediment and green waste. We ask you to segregate that if you have that on your property. The mud and sediment, you can leave about 3 feet from your right-of-way. Try not to leave it near a mailbox or a power pole or something that would prevent our crews from removing that debris. The green waste, we promote self-haul at this point. You can segregate it, try to keep it free of rocks and other kinds of trash. Household hazardous waste, electronics, and white goods. I'll share with you in upcoming slides some programs that we have for that and some dates. For green waste, we ask that you keep the size limitation below 8 feet in length and less than 3 feet diameter, and that's for our vendors' equipment to process that on the tail end. As I mentioned, we encourage self-haul. Electronics, hazardous waste, white goods, please do not put that in the right-of-way as much as possible. Again, mud and sediment for now. Your household trash, just use your normal process. If you have refuse collection, throw your household trash, continue to use that. If you self-haul to Olowalu Transfer Station, continue to do that. Regarding what Jordan mentioned, we did have some missed refuse pickups due to road conditions, so we appreciate the public who was affected by that. We did follow up and pick up your trash, but it did put us back a little bit. We are back on schedule for refuse collection normally. Construction and demolition debris. You might have water damage from flooring getting wet, drywall, roofing, ceiling, that type of thing. We ask that you bag that material, double bag it if possible. You can dispose of it to your normal trash, your refuse bins, or self-haul if possible. These are some of the programs that our task force has set up under our Environmental Protection and Sustainability Division. We have a green waste program. Many of you have green waste in your yards. There's a green waste container hauling program. What that is it's by appointment. You call into that number. That's our EPNS number, 270-7631. You can schedule a 30-yard roll-off container to be delivered to your property. You will need to have adequate space for that container. It's a pretty good sized container. You fill it up with debris, and then we come haul it away free of charge. This only lasts until we have available funding, but we, again, urge you guys to self-haul. But if you aren't able to, or you have very large volume of green waste. We have this program. Self-haul, Hawaii Organics Composting. That's the facility you see at the corner of Kuhilani and Honopi'ilani by that little coconut shack. We urge you to take your debris there if you can self-haul. Large appliances, we have a scheduled event on April 17th for West Maui. We are still working on the location. That number up there is from our vendor, Malama Maui Nui, who always helps us out with these events, collection events. We ask that you remove food, try to wash out your appliances if possible. The food waste, you can throw it away through your normal refuse disposal method. Same date, electronics and white goods, all on April 17th. My understanding it's all gonna be at the same location, somewhere in West Maui. So call into the number, schedule. What they're gonna ask you is what type, and you can find out specific days, the time and the location. April 17th. Household hazardous waste. Please segregate that, keep it on your property. These are like your pesticides, fertilizers, lead-based paints, oil-based paints, that type of material. Again, April 17th, call in, make an appointment, and we'll have a collection event ready. These are websites, and again, we'll have all of this on Maui Recover's website, so you don't have to scramble and try to write this down. Some of these do pertain to you, some of them don't, but these are websites that you can find information as far as location, and if you have any questions for the vendors themselves, you can call. And like I mentioned earlier, we urge people to self-haul. We have limited resources to go out and collect debris from people, but we do have some resources to do that. So if you are kupuna, or maybe you have some physical disabilities or limitations, there's a QR code here. You report your debris on the Crisis Track app or website, the MIMO website, and you can schedule and we'll go out and pick up your debris. Construction waste, demo waste, and green waste. Again, limited resources, so we ask that you folks try to self-haul and keep this for those that really need the service. I'll be here to answer any questions at the end. Feel free to come up to me. Thank you very much. Oh, you know what?
Good evening, everybody. Kimo Langef, Deputy Water Supply. So what happens first? MEMA, they get all the partners together and we have daily briefings to coordinate on what kind of impacts we're gonna see in the storm. The next thing that happens, DWS does their normal prep. We go out, we check, and we fuel all of our permanent and temporary generators. The next thing is we keep all of our vehicles fueled daily. We prep the standby crews, and we go out and we check any areas that could be susceptible to heavy wind or heavy rain damage. The day before the storm hits, we top off all of our water tanks, and we also switch over to emergency generator power at all of our critical sites. So for West Maui, we really only had minor impacts. Basically, it was power interruptions, and we had a few service laterals that got exposed in Wahikuli. I'll be around if you guys have any questions. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. I'm Shayna Decker, Director of Community and Government Affairs for Hawaiian Electric, based out of Kahului. Thank you so much for the time tonight. For West Maui, we want to, thank you for your patience and understanding. There were areas of West Maui that did experience some storm-related outages. There were no extended or prolonged outages, but we know those interruptions, can take time. So we just want to mahalo you guys. Our crews are working overnight throughout the storm to make sure that power could be restored. During storms, crews are actively out there. They actually had to stand down in some cases because the weather got too severe, and then they were right back out as soon as those conditions rolled through. And so during a storm, they are restoring, and then after a storm, there's very strict restoration processes where they're actually looking at areas that have critical infrastructure like water pumping facilities or airports. And then they pick up those areas and then they can work in different phases in your neighborhoods. And so I know a lot of you have already signed up to stay informed, but we're here tonight again to help anyone sign up for our Hawaiian Electric mobile app. We have a lot of different platforms that we share about our outages and our restorations, including our outage map. So please come talk story with us. We're happy to show anyone how to sign up for our notifications. Thank you.
Thank you, Shana. So we have three more presenters. Up next is Joel from the State Department of Human Services, and then our Department of OEV Resources, and our Department of Management with some resource information. Joe?
Aloha, everyone. So Joe Campos, Deputy Director, Department of Human Services for the state. Just wanted to first mention the HIEMA website, ready.hawaii.gov, in which you can log on to, and if you need housing, if you need to report damage, if you have other resources that you need, you can fill out a form there. I believe there's also a MEMA form that you can fill out, but also contact 211. Okay, so if you need anything because of the damage from the Kona lows, make sure to reach out either to the state's ready.hawaii.gov or 211, okay? We do have some housing options available in Maui County. So if your house is uninhabitable, then definitely reach out. Okay, so that's the first thing I wanted to mention. Second thing, I know a lot of people in the Wahakuli area had concerns about the basins, the retention basins that Kalaiola built. One of the things that I really want to stress is when Kalaiola, right, the temporary emergency housing for the wildfires was created, we did do civil engineering to ensure that the basins, one, were fortified, and we actually created more basins. Rather than that one basin that was existing, we created another 2 basins, and that the basins were designed to drain onto the roadways. Okay, that's kind of the best practices that exist. The rain that came, wait, that kind of rhymed anyway, was beyond what anybody could have anticipated. And thank you to the Kalaiola team, Kevin, Cesar, Sarah, Lauren, Nima, who mobilized to get out there to start pumping the basins to be able to have it flow onto the roadway rather than into people's homes. If it wasn't for their efforts, 72 hours straight on both weekends, it could have been even worse. The water that came down from the Mauna was so great that not even the basins designed to civil engineering standards was able to handle it. Okay, but because of the extra work that was put in, we really did avoid having homes inundated. I know some people had their yards inundated, the whole community got together, so what are we doing now, right? Because we now know how the Mauna acts when the water comes down and where the water flows now, we are re-engineering to make sure that we take into account what happened, okay? So just so you know, Kalaiola, the state, the county, we're all working in collaboration to make sure that that doesn't happen. But even what happened in a way that it was designed to happen, okay? So we're here. If you have any questions, I have the great Kalaiola team available as well, and we'll talk after. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Joe. We have Kumu Kupuna'ai Molitau to share some helpful and valuable information. Kumu, you want me to handle the clicker?
Ai velina mai ke aloha e kakoa pau e ako komei nei ke hiahi. Aloha kako. So the information that I humbly share tonight is probably a little bit sobering in terms of what we got to continue to care for those ancestors beyond the veil, our iwi kupuna. And so one of the things that I also want to preface is that we live in a place that allows for us to kilo constantly, and that Hawaiian word of kilo means to observe, to take measurements, to take thought in our surrounding areas, mauka to makai, kahipai, border to border. And so ancestral names of places and place names are very important to the kilo. And want to make that very, very integral to the conversation tonight. And the reason why is sometimes we need to be reminded about the place that we live in. And the place that we live in may have a name that is relevant to mo'olelo, relevant to historical accounts of what may have occurred previously. And so just being mindful about the place that you live in, I think is just a gentle reminder from our kupuna on the other side of the veil, letting us know. And so tonight, some of the things that I'd like to talk about, again, is the significant cultural sites and ancestral burials, what you might do or what you can consider to do if you encounter iwi kupuna. 1, do not touch or move iwi unless they are in imminent danger. 2, call MPD. There's the number 244-6400. Cover with a cloth if you have it, or even a shirt, and then wait for MPD to arrive. They will secure the scene. If iwi are determined to be human, MPD will coordinate with additional county, state, federal agencies such as SHPD, OHA, or our Department of OEV as appropriate. The other component to all of this is due to the heavy rains, you're going to see a lot more erosion alongside the coastline, and probably iwi kupuna will be exposed. And so one of the things that I am also mindful of is that iwi kupuna, depending on the status of that particular iwi, will have funerary objects or moipu, as we call them. Please be mindful that they are not typically shells that are just found on the ocean floor or on the shoreline. They're part of that particular kupuna. So we want to be mindful about that as well. Okay? Exposed, impacted iwi kupuna. This is the HR that is about that. Illegal to excavate, alter, disturb, and photograph. I want this to be very mindful as well. Don't need photos, videos to be broadcasted all over anybody's social media account. Under this particular law, there is a fine up to $20,000 per incident. So be mindful of that. And then thinking about our own iwi kupuna, will one day be that iwi kupuna, and we want to make sure that we are cared for just as safely. Mahalo nui. I'll be over here if you need any more questions answered. Again, thank you very much for being here. Aloha.
Thank you, Mahina. Aloha, I'm Erin Wade. I'm the Deputy Managing Director. The Department of Management has the Office of Recovery underneath as part of the Department of Management. And as MEMA kind of finishes their work and we transition into longer term recovery, the office will be taking on quite a bit of that work. So appropriately, we already have My Recover's website available, and we've now transitioned that into a multi-event website. So in addition to still having all of the resources that we have for fire, we now also have information about Konolo storms to help you. So I'm kind of putting my ROE lady hat back on and gonna walk you through the steps you need to take if you do have flood damage or water damage or storm damage on your property. So all of this, just so you know, is available on the Maui Recovers website. It's gonna basically summarize in one location everything you heard from the directors about what your next steps are. So first is, of course, to document your damage. I'm sure you've done that with photos and videos of the moments and time that you were experiencing the damage. Make sure to do that in the aftermath as well. Make sure you're documenting whatever impacts have happened to your property. And in addition to that, if you've already started purchasing things or making any repairs, save those receipts. Okay, so those will be valuable for upcoming steps. Step 2 is to file the damage report. You've heard multiple folks say damage report is essential. It's not only essential to you so that we can understand what your needs are, it's also essential as the presidential declaration has been requested for the disaster. It will help us to receive additional funds. So understanding your needs and the scope of your needs is important. I do kind of want to note, you may fill this out and then realize a little bit later you have more damage than you realized, okay? We've seen that happen in several cases. So if you need to go back in and file another one, that's okay. We're expecting that and we'll be utilizing this information going forward. The third step is to contact your insurance provider, of course. So we do have Sherry Peterson over here, our wonderful friend from United Policyholders. If you have any questions or concerns about filing with your policy, she's an incredible resource. In addition to Sherry in person, there's online resources at Maui Recovers. And United Policyholders has information specific to flood as well on the website. So the links are here. Step 4 is if your home was damaged to the point of not being able to be used or occupied, or your business, you can apply for a tax exemption. So there's a link on my Recovers website for you to be able to file that paperwork with us. And that begins immediately once you file. Step 5 is, of course, cleanup. So first and foremost is keeping yourself safe, keeping those on the property who are participating in the cleanup safe. Make sure you have the resources available. You may not know as you start removing drywall or roofing what exactly you're going to uncover. So I recommend that you take a look at what's on the website to be prepared for whatever it might be, mold or mildew or something that you weren't expecting. Have the right supplies in hand before you get started to keep you and your family safe. And then if you need help on the cleanup, we do have additional resources that I'm going to get to in just a second. Step 6 is, of course, is dispose of whatever you have cleaned up. So for that, Shane did an amazing job of sharing debris removal resources that are available for you. All of that information is available on the website so that whether you're gonna self-haul or whether you might need to pull some things out to the curb and have assistance in hauling those, all of that's available to find there. And then the support, right now we have Red Lightning who's stepped forward, and you folks know Red Lightning has been amazing for, as a partner in Lahaina. We're really grateful. They're reaching out to kupuna and folks who may not have insurance. If you need assistance with the cleanup, you can use this QR code and sign up to get assistance. If you're interested in volunteering and being part of a team that will help your friends and neighbors clean up, you can also utilize this link. Again, it's all on myrecovers.org under Kona Low Storm. And as Joe Campos said, if you have additional needs beyond your property cleanup, if you have supply needs, housing needs, mental health support, all of that is available through the 211. So just finally, in conclusion, Maui Recovers remains your primary resource for information. Please see me afterwards if there's something else that you need more information resources on. Just as after the fire, we're going to continue to use this as the central coordinating point to provide you ongoing updates. Thank you.
Thank you, Erin. gosh, they did a great job. They've been going around town, and like I said, we'll be headed to Molokai and East Maui sometime soon. But we want to open up for questions, and this is the regular Lahaina meeting, so you can also ask our team questions, or you can hold that and come up after and then ask the appropriate person. But we do have our response teams as well that presented information tonight. So we have our 2 microphones going around, and just, I gotta tell you, you folks are like used to this, but when we went to the other communities, it was really like, was different. So, so we're back home in Lahaina, and we'll go ahead and take questions. Okay, we'll start there. Yes, your question.
Mahalo, Peter Denise Lacosta. My question is for the workshop, commercial workshop, and it is, why is it not being held on the west side when the people who own businesses that were affected, they have to take the off work and drive to the other side? So that's a huge consideration. Mahalo.
Oh, there she is. Okay, I'll let Erin respond to that. Thank you for that question about the commercial workshops location.
Thank you for the question. So the first commercial workshop that we hosted was at the MAC, primarily because we had heard not only were folks available from the 3 to 5 timeframe, because it's not through the whole workday, it was a 3 to 5 session. But the other piece is a lot of folks were sending their design professionals, because it's a permitting workshop. Typically, a commercial permit does require a design professional to be submitting for those applications. Most of those folks were located in central Maui, and it was readily accessible to them. But I will tell you, we are happy to host this more than once and can do another one in Lahaina if that's desired.
Great. Thank you, Erin. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Erin. And again, you can ask questions of our Parks Department too, because, they're raring to go. Go ahead in the back. They're like excited. Ask us something. Go ahead.
Aloha.
Aloha.
I want to know how many assessments have been submitted so far for Maui, and then how many for Lahaina?
Okay. Not sure who can take that one. Okay. The great thing about our team is they never know what the questions are going to be, and yet they're willing to try and help out and offer whatever they can. Okay, question on the assessments, Kono? No, this one.
This one?
Yeah.
So right now we have 563 that have been confirmed. So what that means is it was filled out, sent in. We sent out a team to go and verify. And so 563 have been done. What was the number, Everett? 700? The total? Oh, total. So about 750 or something out of that was, it wasn't confirmed as a legitimate damage. So we have way more than that we should be getting. So if you can, go ahead and do that crisis track submission before April 10th. It'll be really good.
Thank you. Thank you, Kono. Katie, did you have a question on that side? Okay, raise your hand. Oh, there, okay. Oh, go ahead, Rick.
Thank you, it's Rick Nava. My question is for Parks with Mr. McCall. Again, thank you so much for the community center. We've been needing that for a long time. But the one question I have is that playground equipment on Lahaina Recreation Center. That thing has been empty forever, and we need that playground equipment. So every budget hearing, I've been out there testifying for it. I thought it was going to happen this year, but we still got 3 months to finish it up, right?
Okay. As we announced in the last meeting, that contract also has received a notice to proceed, and the most update, again, Erica is in charge of it, and she can give you the actual dates that are going on with it right now.
Yeah, actively right now. I just have good news tonight. Yay! So right now, the Lahaina Recreation Playground, which will be one of our largest playgrounds and host our largest shade structures, our bidding closes April 9th. So we will be selecting, hopefully, we get a lot of good bidders in, and we'll be selecting a contractor very soon to start that project. So there you go.
Great, thank you. Again, questions on the floor for any of our team? I saw, okay, yes, on your side. Go ahead.
Hi, Karen Komkowicz. The recent Kona low kind of exposed serious flooding risks in Lahaina, and as the Lahaina rebuild has been happening, there's been an increase in impervious surfaces throughout Lahaina. So I'm wondering what the county is doing specifically and what will be adopted to ensure Lahaina doesn't have greater flooding risks after it's redeveloped. And another side thing is how are the view planes in Lahaina? That was an important feature of Lahaina, was the views of the West Maui Mountains and the ocean. So I'm hoping those will be maintained in the rebuild.
Thank you for that question. Okay, here's Public Works Director.
Thank you. So, not to speak for planning, but planning does have requirements on impervious surface for single-family homes. And then the other big initiative that the Department of Public Works is working on is our Lahaina Watershed project, which is to capture a lot of the runoff above or south of Lahaina Luna Road through all the lands, Kamehameha Schools and the recently acquired, you're welcome, Pat, land for the community center that we were able to purchase with support of the council. So that's the longstanding project that we've been working on, and so that's one of the big initiatives we are working through to improve the drainage situation in Lahaina. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, hang on. I'll give you the mic just so we can make sure we hear. Your question, sir?
Hi, Pat Sullivan, Lahaina Luna graduate, 1972. Anyway, so I've got a question for Jordan or maybe the mayor. I know you acquired that 160 acres, and there's some good things coming out of it, hopefully, such as the elementary school, drainage help, like Jordan mentioned. We've got roadways and housing for the local people. So wondered if you could expand on that. I've missed a couple of meetings, so I didn't know if that came up previously. And then I have another question after you finish.
Okay, we'll handle this one first. Thank you.
All right.
Lahaina Luna graduates get extra questions they can ask. So yes, we acquired that and we are working on it. I'm not at liberty to discuss all the details here tonight, but there are plans. These are things that we got to run through the county council. There's some things that we got to obviously vet through some of the partners that we're working with. But I can confirm we did acquire lands. We did acquire those. Some of those are in the area of where the school is considering to be rebuilt, Kamehameha Third School. The state has committed to put in the roadways, the state highways, and that's all part of evacuation, part of access in and out of that area. There are some good lands that it's going to require some public meetings because those were ag lands. They have to be rezoned for this purpose. This was not land that was originally put in your West Maui plan. I know everybody in this room knows a lot about that. So this is a shift. There's, in my opinion, more positive than negative to having this happen there. But again, you guys are going to have a large input in that, in your voice. And that's the reason I can't confirm for you that this is going to happen or is not going to happen. It's in the planning phases, but it is a long-term project that we're looking at. So hope that helps.
Yes. Well, I had another question I had. So my dad created the Sullivan subdivision, and we've been in a preliminary subdivision for about 40 years. And we lost a couple of houses there in the fire, but some neighbors here just had 2 houses that they put up in Waianae Street, and they've been damaged. So I didn't know what they should do about that. And then I'll hopefully talk to Jordan about what future drainage might happen in that area.
Yeah, I'm familiar with some of the drainage, but not as familiar as Jordan is about that area in Waianae. You want to come talk to him later, Mrs. Sullivan? Yeah. Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you for that question. They're on that side. Go ahead, your question, please, Jackie.
Hi, Lahaina. Missed you guys last month. So I have, first is a comment just to let I did point it out to Cynthia, but I just wanted people in this room and people who've been listening to know that there is a little bit of a disconnect about when that recycling event is for West Maui. Malama Maui Nui is kind of, I assume, accidentally advertising two different dates. So it says April 17th on a lot of their stuff, but there's also like April 11th. And so yeah, April 17th is what it says on their like post on social media, and that's what we had on here. But if you go to fill out their form, it says April 11th. So I just want folks to know that. And then I just wanted to, I just kind of wanted to flag in terms of FEMA rent, and I know everyone knows I've kind of stepped out of this realm, but I think that by now most folks have received their rejection of the appeal for the rent. So if you were paying $50 and then now you're being charged $500, you were rejected. My understanding is that minimum is starting at $500, and there is word that it's going to go up quarterly. And I don't know how much like this stuff is actually being messaged through FEMA, but I kind of just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that. So thanks.
So FEMA is unable to be with us, partly because of the government shutdown, but we're looking at stuff. We're recording that question, and then we'll circle back. We can still ask them questions, but they just aren't working. Shane, let's clarify that question you had about the recycling event.
Yeah, thank you for that question. We are aware of that typo. It is confirmed for April 17th. Thank you, Cynthia, for flagging that. We have staff working on that. So hopefully by tomorrow, the messaging is updated to the correct date. Thank you.
Great. That also tells us that people are reading our stuff, so thank you. Okay. Yes, on that side, go ahead.
Okay.
Yes, your question?
Hi. Yes, I was wondering, I'm here because I'm concerned about the public safety and driving on the west side. I'm not sure if everyone knows at nighttime that there are no street lights from Kapalua all the way down, with the exception of certain Kanapali neighborhood, Office Road neighborhood, and a couple other little places. But for the most part, we're in the dark still, completely. And it was really nice during the fire when Napuli Fire Station left their light on. And I noticed during this storm, you did it again at the Lahaina Civic Center. You had all the lights on. And at night, when you're traveling through the storm and you're trying to get around and everyone's gone and you're old and you're driving, having the lights up there, since there's none anywhere else, it was very helpful. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. If we could start bringing lights on the sides, just even, solar lights, regular street lights. This is a main road. This is our main road, up and down from Kapalua to you get on that bypass. You need to go inspect that. And second, you guys are all talking about trees and maintaining trees. And I've been telling you for 2 years, calling in, and after this last storm, the first Kona storm, the second storm, when the lights went out, we had all that wind, I called in every time. They're still not cut. And what I'm talking about specifically is by Times Supermarket. That is, I believe, is that not like a treatment center, a sewage treatment center behind the row on the highway is a treatment center. That whole row of eucalyptus trees for 2 years have been hanging. So I know you all know it. They're there. They need to be cut. The lines are touching the ground. The poles are down. I've got video after months and years of it. So I'm calling you out. You need to fix that because you have a sewage plant. You got all Kanapali. I don't know where that whole line, but it goes all the way up down the whole road. So it's got to be something important. And it starts from Hanawai Street up to Times. There's also a pothole. One last thing, you're talking about roads and potholes. You have a giant potential sinkhole right in front of Kanapali where you have the mono water. It has something to do with the water in Kanapali and the lines underneath. You figure it out, but there is, for 2 years, a continuation on the main road, right by Kaanapali Parkway, and you're going up the Mana Highway, and before you get to Pizza, somebody help me, where the pizza place is. Huh? By the Fairway Shops. It's right before there. You'll see it. It's right in the middle of the road. I drive by it. You take one more TJ Gomes 65 or 80,000 pound cement truck go through that, or a fire truck or engine lab. Any of these trucks drive through that one area, guarantee you have a sinkhole underneath that. So I wanted to bring that to you. And last, for safety, there's a lot of people on the west side that drive mopeds, and I'm not gonna say who, but the roadways from Lahaina all the way to post office and up by Honokawai and that whole area by Kaanapali, the roads aren't clear from the rain. So everybody's on mopeds, and it's still raining, and we're trying to get through. So we need a bulldozer to clear the main rocks, and then you can come back and fix whatever problems. And there's actually the sinkhole is right across because there's a big, huge pipe right there. You'll see it all. All it has to do with the Mana water and that sewage plant. Okay, so the trees.
Okay, so I'm going to make sure we get Hawaiian Electric an opportunity to answer the lighting question. I think we have Public Works paying attention to the sinkhole. We hope moped riders are listening. And on the eucalyptus trees, so if any of you are moped riders, okay, don't go over there. But eucalyptus trees, could you please give one of our staff your contact information, since you've been trying so hard for 2 years? Let's see if we can elevate that. I appreciate your efforts on behalf of your community. Shayna Decker, Hawaiian Electric.
Yeah, thank you so much for letting us know about the street light. You know, we do have an online street light form, and we can help you out tonight, where we actually have identified where you can put the street name and the pole area, so we can actually put that in to be installed with the street lights. Because some of them was done in different areas where we knew people were coming back. And so now it takes a lot of different requests, but we definitely want to talk to you, and we encourage everyone to use our streetlight form if you see a light out, a light dimmed, or if you need a light installed. So.
Okay, so just pointing out that this is beyond the street residential neighborhood at the main thoroughfare lights. Yeah, I think I got it. It's the main thoroughfare, the main roadways, in addition to residential.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you, Shayna. We have a question in the middle. Yes, ma'am, your question. Go ahead.
Yes, she brought up a good point, because I remember driving home in that rain on the highway, and I don't know whether they're missing or they're just not there, but you know how they have the reflectors in the road? There were none. When I actually pulled up to the airport intersection, I ended up in the left-hand turn lane. I could not tell which lane I was even in. So, you know, I'm driving and I can't see the lanes at all. And that was twice, because one of my friends got flooded up in the Peely, so I was going back and forth. It was horrible trying to drive at night through that kind of weather. And then the second thing I wanted to ask, and maybe the doctor can answer this, I see a lot of keiki swimming at Waikuli Beach, and today, and I swim almost every day, but I have a huge headache. And someone told me, hey, have I been swimming because there was a big sewage spill, and we shouldn't be in the water? Is that the case right now, that during the flooding there was a big sewage spill? Or?
Okay, we'll bring up Dr. Pang to address, contaminants offshore following the recent storm.
The issue of sewage spilling in Hawaii, to me, is set against the background of regular runoff. When it's regular runoff, you get a lot of germs, fecal germs, from the chickens, the cats, the pigs, the rats, all the birds. And so there's a high background stuff. It just runoff water. Now, when the sewage spills, you know, you said, whoa, there's more germs. Yes, but with this kind of rain, I hate to say this, but it's diluted. The real issue and worrisome thing are these unknown fevers which come up from leptospirosis, just from being wet. The issues of enteric diseases, we can, there's a heads up. They're not that serious, okay? But we ask you to avoid the brown water, not just because of the sewage, but because the sharks on the ocean, okay? And if you're going to go in with an infection, a normal day in Hawaii, in an open wound, it will be infected, red hot, swollen, tender, on any beach, just from the sand and from the staff, beyond what the water is coming down from the sewage or the straight runoff, okay? But it's a little bit, the priorities really should shift to leptospirosis and the fevers of unknown origin.
I have to say, when Dr. Pang talks, if you could see what we see, everybody leans forward and your faces go like, and then I see somebody leaning like, oh my God. So I'm glad you're paying attention. That's the important thing. Another question, Katie, on your side? Yes, sir, your question. Go ahead.
Aloha, my name is Kalani Fonda with the Department of Hawaiian Homelands. So when you had requested that we be here, Joe Campos texted me and I booked the flight the following day. So aloha, everyone. If you have any questions, I'll be in the back. I just wanted to say mahalo to the Kalaiola team, along with Everett Dowling and his development team, GBI. They were all very valuable in working together to really address the flooding issues on that side. Mahalo.
Excellent. Thank you, Hawaiian Homelands. I should have looked at your shirt logo more close when I was telling you to go eat. Hands up, any questions? Okay, we are here. Okay, we're making really good time. I want to be mindful of that. Oh, yes, ma'am. Do you have a follow-up question?
I wanted to compliment the first responders from during the windstorm and then the 2 Cornerstone fires.
Thank you.
All of them, and specifically the police department, when we had them, it was dusk, it was dark and rainy, and they were the ones at the intersections when all the lights were out. So we really appreciated them being there, especially driving at night, and it was almost night and being old and can't see, and they were there. But I will say that you do need to protect the young cadet guys. There was 4 of them for a shower, all alone in the rain, no jackets, no lights. They had no vests, so safety PPE has to also come for them too. The seniors all had it, but none of the 4 young cadets. And they were at the busiest intersection. So I even yelled at them, I can't see you. Yeah. It's raining. And so there is some danger in it, but I do appreciate everybody that was there and helping us during those times, because we are out there and no one else is. And lastly, with your community center, I am concerned still that there's I haven't been here, but I am wondering about a library. I'm concerned and worried about daycare. I work 2 jobs and I babysit a 1, 2, and a 3-year-old 4 days a week because there's no daycare, so their parents can go to work. So I'm wondering what is in the plans for daycare for before preschool. There's a lot of kids and a library and an internet. Where I live, I have to have Starlink. I don't even have internet. So you tell me to go on a website. It really isn't that easy when you live in this area right here. I live right here. So those are little things you have to consider, that not everybody reads English, not everybody can go to go to the website, and if we had a library like the old days, we would go use the computer and people would go. We don't have that as far as I know, so I'm asking, how's that going? Thank you.
Thank you for that. We're going to wrap tonight so you have a chance to talk to our folks. I do want to tell you what we've noticed at every meeting is that every time our team goes out and activates the Emergency Operating Center, they're there, they raise their levels of activation in paying attention to how any incidents or weather conditions are changing. At the same time, parallel to that, we can see the community, neighbor to neighbor, helping out. Just get in there. So I gotta tell you, from upcountry, Molokai, Lahaina, South Maui, Wailuku, Iao Valley, everywhere, it is so impressive. So together, between what our operational people can do, our first responders are doing, and you all are doing, this is how we make it through every single incident, because not one of them is the same. So I'm gonna ask Mayor Vincent to close tonight, and our team's available.
Thank you. So Pat, since you were showing off earlier, Now you got to build libraries and childcare. We're going to move all that to Parks Department because her question went specifically to parks. Now, yeah, like show off. That's what happened, Doc. We all heard it. You know, Anthony. You must have graduated Lahaina Luna because you have plenty of questions. We'll let you do one after another. Hey, listen, when the weather was bad, we wanted everyone to stay off the roads for all the things that just were talked about tonight. All you did was confirm exactly what we asked you to do. Now, it sounds like you had to. Sounds like you had to get from point A to point B, and that's understandable. But when you're in these conditions, you're not going to be able to see the road. I'm surprised you could even drive through the water, much less see the road. So please, the lesson from here is don't drive unless you absolutely have to, please. We say that to you not in the abstract, but based on what we know is going to happen. You won't be able to see. You won't be able to stop. You may get flooded. One of the big things that happens in floods is cars cannot move, so they stall and they stay right there. Now, nobody else can get through that road, including the first responders and the infrastructure guys who are trying to get to people. So you guys cooperated so much during this, so much, island-wide. But I just want to emphasize, and I'm so glad you mentioned that, especially when you said, I cannot see the road when I'm driving when it rains. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. You won't be able to see. I know Jackie might have left already. Oh, sorry, I see you. Oh, you just moved every table. Okay, all right, got it. Wait, you never catch these guys yet. Okay, so I want to say something about the rent because we've been talking about this for the last year and a half. We were very fortunate that FEMA extended. I remember loud claps when that came out. But it came with strings attached. This is not a surprise, everybody. I'm not going to speak on behalf of FEMA. I'm just going to share what I remember in those earlier meetings. Find another alternative to the FEMA housing because it is going to end. But before it ends, it's going to increase. Now, there are people that are in tough economic times that we can help. I'm going to say Joe Campos can help. No, I am. I'm going to say DHS can help, and I'm going to say the county can help. But there are people who can't afford to pay that rent. I'm just saying it to everybody, so you guys heard it from me. So please, I'm not sure if that was a criticism aimed at FEMA or anybody else, but I just want to be fair. We have been signaling for a time now to please find an alternative if you can, and have those places be for the people who really cannot afford anything more than, let's say, $500 a month, or even the 50. Now, I know what happens is people compare Kilohana to Kalaiola. That's the problem, is that comparison. It's not a fair comparison. They're two separate agencies with two separate missions, two separate abilities. So the state has their program, and they have what they charge or don't. And FEMA has theirs. So the message tonight should be use these next months until February to find somewhere that you can get to for more permanent housing. It was never intended to be free the entire time or even for this long. They extended it for years. Pretty good chance it's not going to be extended. But we all need to work together as a community to prepare. So I did want to share thoughts on those things. And the final thing I wanted to say was what everyone else has been saying tonight. Community is always first on the scene to help community. Most of the reason is you live right across the street, and you can get there to somebody quicker than we can. Our guys will be making their way to you as soon as we can. You guys saw that. Police at the intersections, maybe they couldn't get to your home. Firefighters, our folks that work infrastructure crews, our water, our environmental management, our guys. But they know you're there, and we're trying to work our way to you. Whatever you can do to help us, help yourself, help all of us. I've said this many times before. I'm going to be a reminder. We ask everybody to keep a 3-day supply. I think it's now up to 14-day supply. Am I right, Chief? Yeah, so keep that on that is part of our plan. Part of our plan is for you folks to have your own plan and to have your own supplies ready in case you got to evacuate or in case you need to shelter in place. Because that's how long it's going to take for help to get to you. That is part of our plan, is for you folks to have those things ready in your homes. Because we know we can't get there in an hour or 2 hours, or sometimes not even in the same day. So if we can all work on that, and nobody is more resilient than Lahaina, we've said it because it's true, but that's just another reminder. Thank you folks so much for tonight. Come up and see us if you have questions. Aloha.
Thank you, Mayor. Please, everybody, grab some food over there, hang out with us a little bit, and help yourselves to the Red Cross buckets. Aloha, take care, mahalo.